If you're about to spend some of your hard-earned cash on a supplement because some guys on a forum said that they last all night on it, maybe, but just hold on there. Because I'm not a pharmacist, I'm not a nutritionist, but I do have some insights on this based on my psychotherapy practice. I often speak with men who've tried supplements and pills and things to last longer, and I keep an eye on the science too, because it's interesting. So let's kick off with Kratom. Now this comes from a plant in Southeast Asia, and it has opioid-like qualities. And some people say it helps with performance anxiety. Now Kratom, along with some of the other compounds that I'll mention, it is banned in some states and countries due to serious safety concerns. The FDA advises against using it, and it's prohibited in the UK too. But it's pretty popular right now. And men looking up Kratom for sexual performance will no doubt see a research study that just came out in early 2023. Now I'll link to that in the description, but it reported that taking Kratom increased time to ejaculation in 66% of men who tried it. And that's pretty significant, but, and this applies to most of the things I'll mention, there's usually some research that suggests that whatever substance or supplement might be helpful, might have a positive effect. And research is good, right? But in this case, for example, this study of Kratom, it was just a questionnaire. They didn't test a bunch of guys in a lab. And the researchers sent this questionnaire out to Kratom subreddits and some Twitter-based Kratom groups. So the respondents might have had some bias going on. Considering Kratom's legal status, some of the known adverse effects, especially on cardiovascular function, and some pretty flimsy research when it comes to sexual function, I'd probably pass on this one. Next we have Carver, or Carver, which comes from a plant in the South Pacific. It's often used to make teas for a calming effect, and it contains lactose compounds which are considered to have sedative properties, slowing things down. Now Carver is a bit more widely available, but it's still prohibited in quite a few places, including in the UK. But can Carver help men last longer in bed? Because it's reputed to affect the body's reaction to sexual stimulation. But I'm not aware of any real testing on this. And just like Kratom, the effects of Carver aren't fully understood, and with all of these things, always do your research and check with your doctor before embarking on any natural remedies. Next up is Ashwagandha, sometimes known as winter cherry. Now this is a shrub that's native to India and Southeast Asia, and it's been used for thousands of years as a treatment for inflammation, anxiety, and yes, sexual stamina. Ashwagandha is pretty widely available, including in the UK. Does ashwagandha help with PE? Well, there's no concrete evidence that it does, and a very thorough study into ashwagandha and erectile dysfunction conclusively found that it had no effect. So I would say that the same probably applies when it comes to PE. That said, I think ashwagandha falls into the category of safe and can have wider health benefits. Next up we have epidemium, also known as bishop's hat, fairy wings, and horny goatweed. It comes from a plant found in various parts of the world. Now horny goatweed supplements, they're legally sold pretty much everywhere, and they're often taken as an aphrodisiac and to help with sexual performance. Now historically, this seems to be based on the observation that eating this plant does indeed make goats horny. They love it. But what about humans who eat it? There's no evidence of any benefit to my knowledge. Next up, we have Seletium, which is also known as kanna. This is a plant from South Africa where native people have used it as a traditional medicine. Kanna is thought to be used for anxiety, depression, and many other conditions, and it might prove helpful for premature ejaculation. Now I'll link to another video where I talked about the work of a pharmaceutical startup who are currently researching kanna for this very purpose, for a PE dedicated medication. Seletium is a bit lesser known as a food supplement, but it is available from online stores. Can kanna help with lasting longer in bed? let's see what Kanna Health, the startup, develop in due course. But I wouldn't bother with Kanna supplements off the shelf right now. Turmeric and other spices, they're sometimes reputed to help with lasting longer. And I'll link to a video specifically about the benefits of turmeric. It's healthy and it's beneficial in many ways, but alas, probably not for lasting longer in bed. Cloves too are sometimes taken as a remedy for sexual difficulties, including premature ejaculation. Guys are sometimes advised to take cloves with some warm milk and take it before bedtime, before sexual activity. There is a study on the effect of cloves as a food supplement, but it was for rats. I'll link to it below. But not only did the researchers observe the male rats lasting longer, but also enjoying improved erections and mounting frequency. So that sounds quite exciting, doesn't it? But to my knowledge, this study has never really been followed up or ever really progressed to human testing. Just a quick comment about taking CBD oil for relaxing more during sex and lasting longer. There was quite a lot of hype around CBD oil in recent years. I've discussed its effect or non-effect in another video. Now I could go on here. There are loads more herbal remedies that claim to help men with stamina and potency, etc. But you can probably see the trend here. Substances with interesting properties, often with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefits, but lacking any real evidence that they help men last longer in bed. And you might now be thinking, oh, so I've just watched him trash all the supplements, so does nutrition make any difference at all to lasting longer? Well, yes, I do have some actual positive suggestions. Hurrah! Remember that emotional arousal, feeling turned on, your excitement and feelings of performance anxiety too sometimes, our level of activation drives how long it takes to reach orgasm and ejaculation. And the foods that we eat have a significant impact on our emotional balance. We know this. Thanks to the growing field of nutritional psychiatry, we're actually understanding more about this connection. And we can help ourselves quite simply here. We don't necessarily need fancy supplements from obscure plants and shrubs growing on the other side of the world. For example, magnesium plays a key role in the regulation of our stress and our activation reflex. And if you have magnesium deficiency, that's not helping you to be in good working order. So foods naturally rich in magnesium can definitely help. Get eating some leafy greens like spinach and nuts, seeds, whole grains. Bananas are pretty good too, and a bit of dark chocolate. Foods rich in zinc can help with emotional balance too. So we're talking chickpeas, lentils, eggs. These are high in zinc and they've been linked to lowered anxiety. And get sufficient protein too. I know there was a bit of a protein craze over the last few years. People went a bit over the top with the protein. But it does help to maintain our serotonin levels, which is a major player in male sexual function. Lower levels of serotonin, they are linked to premature ejaculation. So if you want to learn more about naturally boosting your serotonin levels, see my other video on that. Top tip, eat your protein with some carbs and you'll get the optimal serotonin benefits. Finally, probiotic foods too, such as kefir and sauerkraut, because topping up your gut bacteria, that can actually help. It's proven to help with social anxiety, and that's often in the mix of our intimacy struggles too. So I hope this was a useful summary, and if I've missed anything, please do let me know in the comments. And if you went for it and you bought the supplement and now you are lasting all night, I will be all ears to hear about that. Please let me know. Thank you for watching.